Have we started?
Yes, so we are starting now. So, hello and welcome to YouTube channel Health Q, the place where our mission is to motivate you and help you to move on to the brighter side of the health. Thank you so much, friends, for being here watching this video right now live, or else maybe you might be seeing this later. But 18th, 50, 16th of 17th, sorry, I'm really sorry, 17th of November, there was World Epilepsy Day. The idea was to raise awareness about it. And since it's Friday, and on Friday, what we do is we have conversation. We have our guests who come who are either expert, who have experienced something and have a lot of valuable insights to share with. So we thought that we should bring someone on board who is a physiotherapist at the same time who has also battled this journey of epilepsy. With me today is Dr. Sonia Rai. She is an physiotherapist and subject matter expert, a fitness expert with Healthify Me. At the same time, she experienced a very dramatic course of epilepsy. So today we have her with us, where she would be sharing her journey. She would be sharing how she battled this journey, how she overcome it, and how she used her knowledge of physiotherapy, how she used the power of physiotherapy to overcome this entire journey of epilepsy. Epilepsy is a rare neurological disorder. I won't say it's a very rare thing. Most of us know it, but still, there's a lot of misconception. There's a lot of myths. There are a lot of things that people don't know about it, and this impacts dramatically the quality of life of a person. So the idea of this live interaction is to make sure that you guys know a lot more about epilepsy today. You guys also understand that it's not the end of your life. The life still exists. And on that note, let's begin this entire conversation with Dr. Sonia. So over to you, Dr. Sonia. Thank you so much for being here. And let's start first with yourself. If you can just give a quick introduction about yourself to our audience, it would be awesome.
Yep. Hi, good evening. I'm Dr. Sonia. By qualification, by profession, I'm a physiotherapist, and I'm also a certified medical exercise specialist who I have been working in the health and wellness industry in the past couple of years. However, being a bit tough skinned and a sports enthusiast has brought me with Health Cure Rehab today over here. And I'm really honored actually to be one of the speakers where not only helping you understand about epilepsy, but to give you a motivational support, which is the most important thing which we rarely get across through. How to deal with things is a personal experience. Definitely, I'm not a standard experience which you all might come across through, but maybe you could correlate onto things and you can implement these things in your day to day routine, which would help you out, or maybe with your loved ones, where anyone is facing with epilepsy, you can help them out, which would be helpful over here.
Awesome. So, if you can just share your experience, when was that first time you got to know that you have been diagnosed with epilepsy? How it all started, if you can share that story.
Well, starting with the story, it would seem like, me presenting a bit of narrating a movie story, we can say. So it's about somewhere around 10 to 12 years or 13 years back, where I was in my ninth grade, and out of nowhere we had a holiday for our school, so we friends decided to enjoy the entire day at the backyard of one of my friends' place. Having a quite tired day, I returned back home and spending some movie time with my siblings. I still remember I was watching Three Idiots, the movie, and waiting for definitely mom's food to be there served on the dining table. That's where all of a sudden I had a seizure attack, the first one, where as narrated by people, everyone across who was there around, that I was full with tremors. I had froth in my mouth, and I was, unresponsive. And the next moment, which I see myself opening my eyes, was in one of the hospitals in the ICU bed. So that's how it all started about. But yeah, definitely it's been a turning point for me as well into life, because back then, till now as well, but back then I was a sports enthusiast, where life was completely a bit of academics but moreover of sports, being on the fields, enjoying life. But that's something which actually hit a lot, and probably brought a big turning point which was there.
Right. So, were there any symptoms, or was there anything that you were experiencing before you got this epilepsy? Was there any uneasiness that you were feeling, or anything you
um
remember?
in terms of, I would say that day was an amazing day, because I really, we friends had cooked food in the backyard. Then there was a lot of exertion, probably because after that I went for a play of badminton for probably around half an
Mhm.
hour or something. And there was screen time as well, so probably that can be one of a couple of
Mhm.
things which came up together. And I was hungry as well at the same point, so we can
Mhm.
consider being exhausted. Then screen timing, empty stomach, low sugars supplies to the blood can be some of the factors which may have precipitated. But before that, as such, there's been nothing which I have ever come across through before that incident.
Right. Was there any early signs, or was there anything you remember, like maybe your doctor told that that could have been the cause behind the first epilepsy attack that you could predict or he could predict?
So it's very unsure, but when I was an infant, there was an episode of fever where my parents do remember that there was uprolling of eyes, but except that there was nothing else.
Hmm.
So that's been a time duration of a long time duration, and between that there were no other symptoms as such except that. So that episode was just the first hit of it, because I was a sportsman. I used to play for my school, for states and stuff, so there was nothing as such.
Right, right. And how was your recovery process after this? So how you recovered? What exactly you experienced in that?
Yeah, so recovery, I think so. There have been a lot of phases, which I can say.
Hmm.
I would really love to break down these phases into two parts, which are there. So the first phase was something where, when I was just diagnosed with epilepsy, and I was putting on weight with the medications. I was drowsy, and there was a lot, because I had my 10th grade as well at the same time, a lot of pressure. So ups and a lot of frequent episodes which were happening across.
Hmm.
But there came a point where I lost my grandfather, and that instance, in a couple of days, of around 2 to 3 days, every single day, I used to get 7 to 8 or maybe 10 or 12 episodes the same day, where it was so intense that even if I'm sitting at a certain point, I used to get thrown away to around 8 to 9 feet away from the distance, and I used to go and hit the wall. So there were a lot of physical injuries. Post the seizure, a lot of headache, drowsiness, dizziness. So a lot of things were there. That was one of the phase where one of our doctor had recommended me that they had recommended me and my parents that why don't you show her to, since it's being too intense. And there's always a frightening mood of being a female child, that she's yet to get married, and how will things work for her. So there was a lot of concern on my parental side, that what would happen next. So we wanted to try every possible way, because in the time frame of somewhere around 5 to 6 years, we weren't able to crack out the best medications for me. So we went to Kerala Shri Chitra Institute, which is there, and we were recommended over there. Since I started my treatment with them, I my episodes reduced down drastically to the ones which I had once every week, or these 7 8 episodes in a day reduced down to one episode in a year. So it was a drastic, complete change for me.
Awesome.
And from being a sports enthusiast, I was like, I want to do something for people who really face a situation for me, and how can I change it? Because definitely by the time I was with all of this, sports had become a limitation for me. So there is where I got a point where I could hold a grip of physio. I definitely have been, really aspiring with dreams and accomplishments which are there. So I was like, yes, physio is something that I can definitely give a shot onto. And I started my physio journey in terms of bachelor's with it in 2003. So, a person who really loves bike riding, living independently, sports and stuff. So, I settled away from home, just around 100 kilometers to 200 kilometers from my place. But definitely a lot of ups and downs, a lot of episodes once in a year, twice in a year, or once in 6 months used to be a situation. Came the second phase where I had one of my episodes just before my clinical hours. So there was another picking point for me. Early morning hours, empty stomach, in a rush, and I got another episode. Eventually, there was some construction going on across, so I fell in around that area where I broke my entire jaw, and
Oh,
I couldn't walk really well. And this is the time when I also got cerebral ataxia, where I lost, balance, lost proper grip, hand grip, which was there, low strength, body strength, and there were a lot of postural issues. Developed three slip discs also on my lumbar area. So there were a lot of things which were happening across the room. That was the second phase, which gave another changing point to my ongoing life, which was there. And yeah, that was where physio started being a boon more than a profession for me. So there's been one of
right.
my mentors called Dr. Jorda. So she had been working in the same hospital where I was completing my graduation. So she's been a neuro specialist. So I got myself treated from her for I guess around 2.5, 3 months, and today I am standing well in front of people. Yeah, treating people as well as a physio. So that's how my second phase went on to across through. But touchwood can say since the past 3 years, today I'm in a phase that in the past 3 years I've never had an episode of seizure at all. So
Wow.
on medications, definitely, but a lot of activeness in life has been, me being on my toes has been that recovery mode, and physio has been one of the most important boon for me because second phase of where I had a cerebral ataxia and the attack where I broke my jaw and everything, that's where I lost a lot of motivation, confidence again, that how would things work because I'm not able to hold a spoon as well. I'm not able to walk without support. How would life look forward to be ahead? So that was another thing, but it's going pretty well at the moment.
Awesome. This is so inspiring. I must say there must be a lot of inspiring lessons that I and our audience will definitely get. But can you just put some light on the kind of challenges that you faced due to this epilepsy, not only physically but emotionally in terms of your social life? What
Yeah.
were the misconceptions that you faced during this journey?
Yeah, so actually, during the entire process, we can definitely say that there were a lot of mood swings which were there. There were a lot of, muscle imbalance issues which were there. There were, the incorrect posture, slip disc, being a sports enthusiast, even though I used to play each every day. So there was a part. I just need to hop on. Just
Friends, just for 2 moments,
sorry
we'll
for
change the
the
mic.
inconvenience.
No
Yep.
problem.
So definitely, with medications, uh, it's been a boon. Definitely, medications has been a boon because it has brought a lot of changes in my life. But there were a lot of side effects which we cannot even deny onto. Where weight gain was one thing. The initial days when I was diagnosed with epilepsy, the in the initial first 3 months itself, I had gained somewhere around 20 to 25 kgs of weight, which was too much being in the ninth grade. A lot of mood swings used to happen. I used to feel drowsy throughout the day, at night. Being my 10th, I still remember I had my Hindi paper and I just got an episode after returning back home. So, a lot of challenges which were there. Now, coming up to mood swings, definitely I started being much more annoyed, anxious onto things. and physical limitations definitely were something which were much more to be taken for me personally, because I was a person who used to keep myself really active. So if I'm not able to even play, I used to get much more annoyed. But then that balance was something, if I'm annoyed, I used to go and play. I used to calm down myself. But when that limitation comes that you're not able to play, you completely change your mind as well. So these were a lot of challenges which came across through, but I think so never giving up the attitude was something which always kept me going across through.
Right. So if I have to say this, that from where this attitude comes from, this never giving up attitude, whom you will give this credit to?
I definitely should not deny it's all my mom's credits. She's always had that attitude to, no matter how life becomes tough with you, you always have to, it's how you persevere onto things. uh, Problems always look to be huge if you perceive them to be huge. If
Absolutely.
you look towards them as a smaller issue, it's definitely going to turn down to be small. So no doubt about it, it's all to be my mom's credits to handle up life how it goes to.
Right. And what about your sports background has? Because I can make out that you are a sports enthusiast. You said that so many times. So
Yeah.
what is the role that sports have played, physical activity has played in your life?
Yeah. So while speaking about my challenges, I gained a lot of weight. You can consider me that, sports made me a person that I used to shook like a tennis ball from one court to the other court, once in the obesity category, once where I'm pretty thin enough with some good curves. If I'm physically active, you'll make out that, I'm having a good physique, which is there. If I'm not physically active, I'm getting back to the overweight category, which is there. So that was what sports had been playing for me. Even, enhancing my mood levels, which were there, giving me better, more sleep, having developing a positive attitude towards looking up to things was something which sports has always, even today, I do not give up onto sports, no matter how busy and occupied I keep myself. I never give up onto sports. No matter I'm working for 12 hours, 14 hours, 15 hours, I still do make sure that for an hour I'm at least playing something or the other. Usually, most of the times, these years, in the past 2, 3 years, it's been badminton for me. But I do make sure that no matter how occupied I am playing when I'm being active.
Right. So, just for and more and better understanding for
Yeah.
our audience, right? Can you explain how does it feel like when a person goes through this epileptic attack? What exactly is the sense? What is the discomforts? What are the kind of pain that you go through during this process?
Yeah, so I'll be very honest. I feel that, at that particular instance, when one gets an episode, we generally do not realize the pain which is there, but our loved ones who actually care for us, who are around us, who actually support us, are the ones who have gone through the most pain. Probably, I can say the amount of things what I have suffered, maybe nothing in between or in front of what my mom has seen me suffering through. Because if I'm getting an episode, my mom is seeing me in that state where she cannot do anything about it. She is the most broken person, or maybe the parent is the most broken person. So that's one of the most unaware pain which anyone comes across through. Like, even in the instance, a doctor would definitely, the neurologist consults, counsels the patient, but there's never anything which has happened that counseling the parent, how do they actually feel, which is something which I believe that, the parent needs support at that point of time, which
Definitely,
still
absolutely.
lacks over here. That, we definitely need to provide support. They have education, good amount of education. The doctors, the neurologists, the neurosurgeons do educate them, but that support, physical, the psychological support which the loved ones really need, is still missing out in this era.
Right. So I would really like to highlight here. So we help a lot of cerebral palsy children, right?
Yeah,
And in cerebral palsy, seizures are a very important roadblock in their recovery journey. And when we say that we help children, more than that, we feel we help parents. Because at the end of the
absolutely.
day, it's the parent who has to do every work of the child. And when they come and when they speak about this seizure episode, their epilepsy episode, with that broken heart, I can absolutely relate to that, how much the counseling plays a role, not only for the child, because at least you are adult, right? You understand, you
Yeah,
can afterwards understand the problem, the process and all. But when it happens to a child, child is no is like it's in a helpless stage, right? Like
yeah,
there's no role that the child is able to play on himself, so it's the parent who has to take the entire process, entire journey. And it plays a very crucial role, that educating parents is very important at this
yeah,
stage in time.
yeah.
So, having said that, my next question goes back to the lifestyle changes and lifestyle modification that you have made now, or as you made at that time, that helped you recover faster or get you better. If you can put some light on that.
Yeah, so it wasn't really a very hard change for me in some parameters with regards to saying that physically being active, because I was already active at that point of time.
Right.
But definitely, good amount of nutrition, having medications on time. I'll not deny I've been the worst person or the worst kid who used to have who never used to have the medications on time, or probably, yeah, that's one of the concept. The other thing is, even stress being a factor. At times, being too stressed with certain small minor things, overthinking onto things was something which definitely has brought, I've tried changing those things. It's still a process. It's not too easy to avoid
Yeah.
stressful situations, or develop into an aspect where you do not completely think about anything. You definitely end up thinking, but drawing a line that this is enough, not diving much more deep into it, is some of the things that I definitely have incorporated lately in my past 3 to 4 years. Living a happy to go life is something which has kept me going a lot. There are a lot of people who even do think that, if one has epilepsy, then your life gets restricted. You don't have to move out across, or you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. You can do those things, but you can do that with modifications. For example, an
Right.
orthopedician might suggest that you do not have to walk, but that orthopedician's meaning does not say that you don't have to completely
Correct.
walk. You have to walk with modifications, is their intention to say. That's one thing
Correct.
which the general population tends to miss out to understand, which in this case also they really need to understand that if they are refusing that this person cannot do this activity, you need to modify doing that activity if you really want to, or you really intend to do that. That's the
Absolutely.
way how you'll get up to it.
Very true. Very true. And what is the role of your mental strength, your being emotionally strong, having that support system? What is the role that these things play?
I think it's really important that every individual in this state has to be very strong. I feel that my strength has been that, I've seen my mom crying because of my state. Me not wanting her to cry because of me has been my personal emotional strength, which keeps me going ahead, because no parent would want their child to cry because of them, neither any child would want their parent to cry because of them. So this is one factor which keeps personal mental well-being going across through in this situation.
Right, that makes sense. Now let's move on to your next episode, the second episode that happened,
Yeah,
where you also developed cerebral
cerebral
ataxia.
attacks. Yeah, yeah.
What? How was that like? How different was that from the first episode? What was so different about it, and how you overcome that?
I think so. It was out of the episode was quite, as usual, which it was as earlier in the earlier years, which it was just circumstances, situations were very different, where uh, every reactive force has an opposite force, or something which happened over there. Because of the constructed site, it ended up giving me the fractures across through my face and everything, broken teeth and things of that sort. Then coming up to where being in this, I think so I was just about to give my final year final exams, but then that got me a setback again, that that was not the right time because of loss of proper hand grip, proper stability, proper mobility, which was their proper balance. A lot had affected even the memory level which was there. So that was a tough, really a tough phase where I was just about to complete my graduation, and I had a setback again. So at that phase where I still remember my mentor and my she told me exams come and go in life, but your health is something which will be the only thing which is once there with you. If you don't take proper care of it, is not going to come again. And that's the time where I had that setback. And post that, physiotherapy started. Still, I stayed away from home for physio. I used to walk alone from my hostel to the the physio clinic, which was there in the hospital, holding the bars of the railings across the campus and everything. A tough situation. Couldn't see myself definitely in that phase because earlier I was a student over there. Right now I'm going as a patient over there. Standing, there's the balance board, there's the tilt board also over there. There was an incident where I even lost my balance and I fell again on my face, losing my balance on the tilt board, which gave another couple of injuries, which was fine anyways. Have had much more major injuries, so that didn't seem too huge. But yeah, a lot of strength training in physiotherapy, balance training in physiotherapy, a lot of coordination movements, grip training was something which really made a change. Usually, yeah, here I wanted to highlight, people do have a misconception that physiotherapy is only something post surgeries, or physiotherapy is just massage, or physiotherapy is just electric modalities. That's not the case. Physiotherapy is much more out of that. Physiotherapy is a vast concept which people really do not, a general population does not have an awareness about it. So it
Absolutely.
depends case to case. Like as you mentioned, in cerebral ataxia, in cerebral palsy, seizures is just one of the component. There are other components which you deal on to. Wherein, in my case, it was dealing with balance, having its own protocol, dealing with strength, its own protocol. So they have different protocols which every general population is not really aware about.
Right. And how long it took for you to get out of this
I,
cerebral
I
attack?
I think so. It took me somewhere around 2.5 to 3 months. Was as a major aspect, but in terms of minor things, left back things, it took a couple of more months, which were very minute. So probably I do not consider them to be a part of my recovery zone.
Right, right. Absolutely, that makes so sense. One more question that now comes to my mind is, what was the reason why the cerebral ataxia came into the picture? Was there an injury that happened due to the fall, or is there this consequence of repeated seizure attack that a person can develop cerebral ataxia?
Yeah, so actually, what happened at that incident is what I got to know from the surrounding, from my friends and the people around. I got the episode, and by mistake, due to no other things around in that construction area near the canteen, the first source of transporting me to the casualty was found to be a wheelchair. And when I had an ongoing episode, someone put me on the wheelchair, which shook me down completely off the wheelchair, which gave me the slip disc to provoke more to be coming
Oh,
outside,
right.
which increased the injury amount which was there.
Mm.
And by the time again when I got from the floor to the stretcher, it was quite a prolonged time, and the episode also lasted for a longer duration, which may also have intended to give me the cerebral ataxia. And the slip discs which were there, the disc herniation had a pretty intended extent, which
Mhm.
played a major role with cerebral ataxia.
Right, right, understood. Because then, again, the reason I asked you this because many people might have this notion like, okay, if epilepsy could lead to cerebral ataxia, just
Yeah,
wanted to get an clarification on that. That not all epilepsy episode will lead to cerebral ataxia,
yeah, it
right?
was just another
Mm,
incident or situation that occurred at the
right,
same moment, which intended to
right,
give me the second
right.
uh, complication
Correct.
into that process.
Right. So how is the life now? What you are doing to make maintain your well-being? What you are doing to make sure that you are well, you are healthy, and you are happy?
I think so. Being at home is one of the things which has kept me healthy at the moment. Probably, if I would be outside, I would not have been able to keep myself as healthy as what I am today. The other thing is being active at an extent has also been keeping me active. Homemade food is something which everyone loves to have to and is a blessing for everyone as well. However, along with that, and a lot of dreams, aspirations keep me going across through. For yeah, definitely because I had a lot of setbacks in life because of health issues. As I've come to a better stage in life right now, so the greed of having success is something which keeps me going every day. So that's something which is much more, keeping me inspired and motivated each day.
Amazing. That's so amazing. On the parting, I think your journey has been a very ideal journey for someone who is suffering and is feeling broken. You would be that right example for each and every person like that. And I would love that your story reaches out to as many people as possible, especially who are going through that low phase in lifetime, maybe because of health or maybe other setback. But you are genuinely an inspiration. So, on the parting notes, I would like to ask you if you have to give that one message to the parents, especially because I believe this particular conversation that we are having right
Mm.
now is going to help a lot to the parents
Yeah.
who are suffering from, no, not the parents, their children are suffering from cerebral palsy and epilepsy, or as even someone who has developed epilepsy. Any message that you would like to share?
Yeah, so I personally believe that some incidences, accidents are so strong in themselves, which keep the capability that they can change a person's DNA as well. But it's okay to get demotivated in a any journey. It's okay to cry. It's okay to break down. It's okay to fail. It's okay to give up. But you do not give up because many people say that failure shouldn't be a part of your life, but I would be a person who would say that failure should be your life. It should be a part of your life actually, because you fail, you fall, that's the time where you rise actually, and that's the time you rise higher than what you were. And
Right.
that actually keeps you going, and that makes you a rock strong person. Honestly, that's been something which has made me a tough skin completely and a rock strong person today.
Really, really, that's so inspiring. So there's someone who has written hi and thank you. So Mr. Rajesh is telling you hi, and Irfas is telling thank you, doctor. So thank you so much, Dr. Sonia, for sharing your journey, your story on this platform. Hoping that we will meet soon and we will meet more
Definitely.
often to help as many patients as possible. You are genuinely an inspiration, not only for people who are suffering from person like me. Like, I feel, oh my God, like, look at her. So strong, so motivated, despite going through so many things. Really, you are an inspiration, and thank you so much for sharing your story. And looking forward to meet you further in person. I would genuinely love to meet you in person.
Definitely. We'll definitely meet across, and I'm
Correct.
definitely going to head across through Physio Q because I've really been looking forward to speak with you, the entire team, which has been there from a very long time. And I would definitely want to tell the audience as well to follow the content which has been shared, because it's so helpful in each one's daily life, which is there may not be helpful for a personal individual, but you never know when does it come in use for any loved one which is there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Friends, if you have any question for Dr. Sonia, for us, please feel free to reach out, or else put it across in the comment section itself. We'll make sure that we send these questions to her. And you guys can connect her as well. She is there on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on her handle. She is a fitness expert with Healthify Me. So if you want to take your fitness journey to the next level, I think nobody can be better than her. So on that parting notes, let's end this live video session here and see you on next Friday. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.